All right, welcome to episode 4 of the new Cammack, Vampire the Masquerade, online, virtual, cyber, quarantine edition of a tabletop role-playing campaign. So, the newly crowned Prince Archibald Alvins, played by our own Blake. So you, yesterday, from the perspective of the player characters, but in session 1, you were given a magical journal with the implication of you were supposed to document what happens in New Cammack under your watch. Did you write down any scribblings, any synopsis of what the hell happened on your first night in New Cammack?
I did indeed, yeah. You want the long version or the short version?
The long version's perfectly fine. We have plenty of time.
Long version covers like everything we've done. Short version covers just last session.
Go ahead and hit us with the long version. It'll bring us all up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what was that, Excavo?
I was just going to suggest just the previous session. I want people to watch them.
It's not that long. It'll be fine. Dear Diary, after being stolen from Elysium and put on an unfair trial, I was locked in a trunk and carted away to New Cammack, Indiana. In a private room of Club Wonderland, Archon Glass gave directives to myself, Archibald Alvins, and my new comrades, Excavo, Darby, and Augustyn. We four would replace the prince of this community and have 1 year to solidify the Camarillah's hold here. We met Randy Delacroix, the disgraced drunkard prince, who brought us via underground tunnel to his manor, our current base of operations. He introduced us to his ghoul, Jade, as well as alluded to a mysterious correspondence chess game with an unknown player. My intuition tells me there was more at stake in this game than a FIDE rating, as his loss and unwillingness to speak about it seemed to correspond with a loss of lucidity and a loosened grip on his domain that led to our current predicament. En route to the Tremere Chantry, where the keeper of Elysium, Leslie Lane, resides with his revenants, we were accosted by a street gang known as the Orchestra. They have awful artistic sensibilities when it comes to Baroque works, and so our party taught them a lesson in musical theory. Unfortunately, their electrified instruments spelled the end for the late Randy Delacroix, who succumbed to fire. We are able to ascertain some information from Leslie Lane, the Tremere, as well as drink our fill. However, his gaps in knowledge seem to correspond with our own. In an impromptu election, I was named the new Prince of New Cammack, Indiana, a role in which I plan to spearhead many community organization initiatives to support the kindred of our town. However, there are many mysteries afoot that we must first solve. Before Delacroix departed from this plane, he imparted to us a note left by the missing Nosferatu Sheriff Bagger. The semi-literate Nosferatu left many warnings about a gang of Sabbat moving to the town, and the most immediately pressing matter, an abandoned surveillance station at risk of being found by the humans. We must race to salvage what information we can and hope that it yields answers about what is happening here in New Cammack.
You were a good choice for the group's scribe. Personally, my favorite part was the choice of the word afoot.
Thank you.
If I'm able to make any requests, it would be to include the word afoot in all future entries in the journal.
Oh, I can make that happen for sure.
Okay, well, you've completed your first night in New Cammack. That was April 22nd. Now it is time for all of you to wake up. The first person to wake up is actually Augustyn, and it's for a very specific reason. Augustyn, make a humanity roll versus difficulty 8. Roll the number of dice equal to your humanity rating at difficulty 8.
Okay. So 6.
And what's going on with your webcam right now? You're trying to boot it, or
Dysfunctional. The computer that it's running on is not able to sync up everything. It's either it's either video and no sound, or sound and no video.
the sound also, it sounds a little spooky, so it has an overall kind of mysterious effect for you, which I think works. I dig it.
Thematically appropriate, yeah. I like
Like
it.
a vampire would.
Okay, that works.
So we've got 3 successes.
3 successes. Augustyn, very fortunately, you snap awake in response to a hand clenching around your ankle and locking in a death grip. Thanks to a merit that you very conveniently purchased called Time Sense, when you wake up, you are intuitively aware that it is actually noon. You should be sound asleep, but you wake up in response to something grabbing your ankle quite hard and locking it in a grip.
Oh my!
Is that your reaction?
That's a George Takei impression.
As near as I'm able, I sit bolt upright and try and look at what the hell is clutching my ankle and make sure I'm not just fucking asleep. I should not be awake right now.
There's just enough ambient light around the basement that you can tell that the thing grabbing your ankle is in fact the tall, creepy revenant that you met in the chantry last night. It is grabbing your ankle and it is tugging at your ankle. As you sit up, it turns around and it sees you and it says, "Hey there, Augustyn, what are you doing sleeping in this place? You're a Tremere. You're supposed to be sleeping in the chantry with the other Tremere. It's for your safety. Now come along, I'm gonna take you back there." And it starts tugging you off the bed.
I resist in an irritated fashion. "Good sir, this is uncouth. You couldn't have warned me of this before I went to sleep. How dare you?" And just kind of indignantly, kind of kick with my free foot at his hands that are clasping my foot.
It is quite tall. It is quite strong. And it is quite insistent. And it says, "Oh, mister, this is couth as heck. Now, come on." And it is now pulling you quite off the bed. Now your butt has been pulled off the bed and you're almost falling off.
I very vocally but very impractically protest. I'm just loud and thrashing about, being indignant about this, but clearly I'm being dragged in one direction.
"Mister, I came all the way. It was quite a hassle finding you all the way out here, and I don't understand this belly.
I can't even bring my pillow. We spend all these hours asleep, and I can't even bring my pillow.
It's now pulled you completely off of the bed. And
I demand you go back and at least fetch my pillow if I'm not allowed to grab it myself.
We got so many pillows at the Chancery. I bet they're magical and stuff. It's now dragging you past Darby's bed.
Darby! Darby, you bastard! Help! Wake up, you fool! I start, trying to grasp at any debris I can find that seems throwable, and I'm just hucking it in the doorway at Darby. As I'm able to see him, I don't care how crap the rolls are.
Are you pronouncing
just desperately hucking debris.
You're pronouncing it Dobby? Like the...
Darby. Darby!
Unfortunately for you...
Yeah, bro.
Unfortunately for you, Darby is a deep sleeper. But you are close enough to him that you can pretty easily grab him. I'm going to say that with a dexterity plus whatever physical ability you want to throw in, either athletics or brawl, at a difficulty 3, you can in fact grab Darby's leg.
The two best things I have are dexterity and strength, and they're 2 apiece. So 4, 40-10 at difficulty 3, correct?
You'd have to pair up an attribute and an ability. So do you have...
an attribute and ability. Oh, crap. I don't have...
Let me take a look at your...
Survival? Would survival count?
You have no physical... This...
Maybe...
It is
Oh.
an inappropriate use of survival, but just for fun, I'm going to say, yeah, you can use survival. Let's say you can creatively use survival to improvise your way around pulling at his sheets or blankets to more... You're MacGyvering some way to more easily reach his leg. Let's say that's the justification for using dexterity plus survival. Let's say that combo equals you're MacGyvering your way to his leg.
Is this the first rule?
So, in the briefest of instance with superhuman speed, I nab some faint but long cloth off of his bed.
And let's watch him botch it.
Points 1 and 2 of survival are I had dedicated exclusively to the fine American craft of rope knot tying.
Is that American?
And I tie a clove hitch around his ankle and leave enough slack to grab. It's a very quick and easy knot to tie with very little actual tugging. I throw one around his ankle, and it's meant to secure a load. So he's attached to it, and I'm using it to pull myself closer to him. I'm not so much worried about bringing him with me. I'm more worried about stopping me being dragged in the other direction at this point. And if it means he gets pulled out of bed, so fucking be it.
So the attempt that you are making here, as you were being dragged by your ankle out of the room, is to grab Darby's sheet and to anchor yourself to Darby.
Yes, to Darby.
Go ahead and make
Physically
that.
to Darby.
I'm going to say that is... It's not a 3. I'm going to say I'm going to bump that up to a 5 at least.
Okay.
Because that's not grabbing anymore. That's now a type of elaborate foot bondage that you're attempting.
It's survival plus dexterity, correct?
Definitely.
So 5d10, difficulty 5. Let's go.
And this is
3
generous.
successes. I did it 3 times over.
2 aggregate because you got a 1.
You did.
Ah, damn it, you're correct.
So
But they're too strong. Too strong successes.
You've tangled up. Okay, you've tangled up Darby. The revenant that's dragging you around now notices that her load is heavier, and she goes, "Oh, he coming along for the ride? I don't think he's a Tremere, is he? I don't know
it's totally cool. He's my subordinate.
Oh,
he
okay.
He's basically my property.
Well,
I
then
need him.
we'll have to buckle him up too. Let's go."
Oh yeah, please grab him.
And she starts just hauling both of you, and it's pretty clear at this point that she does in fact have potence. She's not really even breaking a sweat. She's just hauling both of you. Now fully, you have now exited the room, and Darby is now being pulled off of the bed. Darby can now, because he's being violently pulled off of the bed, he can now make a humanity roll to wake up.
Yeah.
All right. I believe my humanity is 4.
4?
Let me double check that. Your humanity
mine
is 6.
6. All right. It's actually pretty high. Oh no! Oh dear! Oh wow!
That's 4 1s.
Oh man!
That's
Nuclear critical.
Literally
That's like a super botch.
Yeah, it's about as bad as it gets.
So Darby, how would you narrate what just happens as Darby slides off of the bed?
and is not awake for this at all.
Yeah, so it is everything campy about Weekend at Bernie's is happening right now with Darby. He is slapstickly ruining any like momentum that the guard, the ghoul, tries to do, the revenant. Like, he moves one way, Darby somehow gets tangled up into the bed sheets one way, he moves another way, Darby flails backwards, just completely unwieldy.
Are
like
you Bud Bunnying this ghoul?
Like an anchor. Yeah, honestly, I'm so useless. Like, it's worse than dead weight. It is like active thwarting, and it is amusing to anybody that is paying attention to notice. Probably not Augustyn or this creature, but if there were a third party, it would be hysterically funny.
I might crack a reluctant but frustrated smirk at your antics.
And I am fully asleep. Like, zero sign whatsoever that I am conscious. I am only being this whirlwind
Oh, I
obstruction.
The Revenant is now pulling both of you fully out into the basement hallway and toward the concrete stairs. And she's saying, I don't think that your friend's awake. Maybe if you give him a little tap on the head, I think he's pretty drowsy.
Damn you, Darby, get your finger out of my ear.
And she starts hauling you up the stairs by the ankle, just hauling you step after step after step, probably bouncing your head off of each
my
step.
cranium.
Ugh! Damn you! Darby, wake up! You bastard!
It's like, don't each stare.
I mean, I probably have taken a couple of bashing damage. Like, nothing has happened. I am still actively just thwarting with whatever just dead weight I have.
At this point, because of the absolute physical trauma happening to Darby, it is fair to give him another roll to wake up.
I did look up Awakening. It is perception plus aspects if you got it.
Yeah, that's if there's like someone sneaking around.
What in the hell? Let me go! What are you doing? God damn it! I'm trying to escape now. I believe I have awakened. I am going to attempt to escape the grasp of this thing. And
At this point, the Revenant is at the top of the basement stairs. Augustyn is pretty much hanging upside down at the middle of the basement stairs, and Darby would be hanging upside down with his head at the bottom of the basement stairs.
Okay.
And the Revenant is still pulling the chain of the two of you up the stairs.
Oh my god, strong.
I feel like normally waking up, I'd be a little groggy and somewhat useless, but I rolled really well the second time to wake up, so I'm going to say I'm kind of fully aware of what is going on. I would like to burn blood for potence to just break the chain. What is around me? What is surround? What am I tied up with?
Right?
I tangle you up with a bed sheet.
Yeah.
And you've got a bed sheet stuck to you, and the Revenant is being kind of a dick about it and using that against you.
I want to just tear it. I want to just literally rip it at the seams in front of me, and then just turn around and go back to bed.
I think it would just be a matter of reaching down and ripping it from your ripping it from your ankle. So that would be.
You didn't have to rip it; you just scoot it off.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm kind of going for drama. Like, I want to tear it angrily. Like,
Yeah.
part of like, I'm just confused and like, what the? This is let go of me. And I'm just
honestly with your strength of 5 plus potence, I think that would be just a simple strength roll. At normal difficulty, maybe honestly difficulty of 7. We'll just increase the difficulty by 1.
So I roll 60-10.
Yeah, and I think on 1 success, you get it.
All right, yeah. So just the sheets get like disintegrated, and I look down like kind of confused again, and I wave goodbye to my helpful friend. Next time, let me know when we're doing like a day party, because I gotta prepare. And anyway, y'all have fun.
Finally, you're awake, you bastard! Help! What the?
Good night.
Help!
Y'all have a good one. I gotta go back to sleep.
I'm just like stuck hanging upside down, waving frantically at him and like, please don't go.
The Revenant fully lifts up Augustyn by the ankle and waves with his ankle. Says,
Damn.
Bye, house elf.
Yeah. See you around.
Hope you get a sock. Bye. I'm going to take this guy back to the chantry. And starts marching through the living room, dragging Augustyn to the front door.
I am just punishing my fingertips by clawing at everything within fucking arm's reach. Like, desperately trying not to be taken away. My fingertips are, like, raw.
You can make an opposed strength check.
Wait. I never actually used my Splinter Servant.
You don't currently have one of those, though.
Fuck it, Doc. Oh, man. I had to have gotten left behind. Fuck.
That was confiscated from you when you were arrested. You got to make another one of those.
Oh no, you don't have any servants.
The Revenant is now dragging you through the living room and going, I don't know why you're being such a pouty puss about this. How about I sing you a song?
How about
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right, but doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
You have made me see the error of my ways. Friend, what if I just cooperated? Can I just walk? I'll follow you.
Oh, like a commoner? No way.
We can hold hands if you want.
Tired.
Make me feel like royalty.
I got it. You look so tired, little princess. I'll take care of it for you. And she is dragging you to the front door, and you could see beams of sunlight coming through it. And you're about 6 feet from the front door, and you can see her hand reaching out to the knob.
Are there any like rugs within my reach?
Nope. Just
no carpet, no dead hookers, nothing I could just grab a hold of and pull over me.
Nope. It's like a linoleum. Nope.
I continue to claw as I'm dragged towards the door.
You make a like squeaky sound on the floor as you're being dragged across it.
Yes, precisely.
She reaches for the knob and she opens up the door, and it's about noon, so light isn't pouring into the room, but you could see that it's day outside, and you are being dragged out toward it. Is there anything that you do as you're being dragged into the direction of the front stoop?
Wait, did the Revenant like remove my silly daggers?
Did you put them on?
You didn't say that you did anything special with them, so presumably they're still like on you in your pocket or in your pants or something.
Good deal. Does this Revenant seem to have normal humanoid like ankles and whatnot?
Oh no.
Yeah, underneath like
Not really.
boots, but yeah.
Okay, with no pretense of subtlety, I swipe one of my daggers and kind of squint one disoriented eye at one of this Revenant's ankles, and with as much precision as I can disorientedly muster, definitely try and just stab the fucking Revenant and it's an Achilles tendon.
Okay, that will be... Now, you want to make a specific precise strike against the Achilles tendon to try to make the Revenant not able to walk on that.
Basically striking at the ankle, trying to just disable that leg.
Now, precise strikes against specific targets like that are at difficulty 9.
Is there a coupon? Can I strike in the general direction of the ankle?
Girl.
A target as specific as trying to hit an eyeball is at difficulty 9. We can say, in fairness, that the Achilles tendon, because you can do kind of a larger swiping strike and still hit an Achilles tendon, a difficulty of 8 could also
a hard bargain.
Could also be fair.
Okay, I take your deal.
So dexterity plus melee, which you don't have, so it would just be roll dexterity at difficulty 8 to see if you can hit specifically the Achilles tendon. And unfortunately,
I got a success.
You got a
10 and a 7.
A success. Your knife, the damage will be your strength plus 1. So roll that.
I got 1 success.
Okay.
And as I'm doing it, I holler like, "Hey man, this'll sting."
And unfortunately, the boots do count as armor for this. And,
that's totally fine.
Oh, their boots on. Oh, no.
That was not soaked. One Achilles tendon down. And the Revenant goes, "Hi! What are you doing that for? You accidentally nicked me!"
It's an exotic back rub.
And you see as your knife passes through the boots and through the Achilles tendon, you see a big gash open up, and you see the blood and the viscera, and you see through the pants the calf on the Revenant snap up and roll up and get really tight up in her leg. It's super gross. In other circumstances, it might require a humanity check. When she stops momentarily and turns around and complains, and then she focuses on her leg and goes, "Ah!" You see through the gap in her boot, the wound closes up and her calf lowers back down to its normal position as the wound mends itself, and she goes right back to dragging you outside.
Oh, fuck it, Doc. This is the most inconvenient.
You
Just
feel
grow like a root really quick and grab it.
you feel your leg start to heat up, and your lower body starts to take 2 levels of aggravated damage.
Oh!
And you actually already had 1 level of lethal damage. What's your move?
Fuck it, Doc. What do I see around me?
You're on a concrete stoop.
And we're on our way onto the Tremere camp, supposedly.
You're being dragged to a car that's maybe like 15 feet away. You're on like a paved driveway.
Oh my god.
I try and stash my knives and just feign being knocked out without actually being knocked out. Like trying to minimalize how much shit my head's hitting and pretend to be just vulnerable. Because as I'm realizing I don't want to take more damage from resisting.
Protect your head. I don't know.
Okay. The Revenant drags you another 6 feet toward the car, and your whole body is bathed in sunlight, and you take another 3 levels of aggravated damage.
What?
You are now.
So I've already taken 2.
You are now
Crippled?
1 level.
I've
Yes,
taken 3.
you're now 1 level away from incapacitation.
And I've got. You said I already have 1 point of lethal damage. How many points do I have available there?
Like, what's your current health level?
Yeah, on lethal.
You're currently at crippled, so you have incap left.
an inkling of more damage, and I am roasty toasty vegetative. Oh my.
Correct.
You're outside with the plant.
Andy, no.
Andy, you're outside with the plants.
You said I'm on a paved driveway, though, yeah? Are there any plants within reach whatsoever?
There's a tree. Is there a tree?
Not within arm's reach, no.
Are there? What is the scene around me? How far away are any plants?
There's grass on either side of the lawn. There are trees within sight of the area. The whole property is kind of surrounded by trees. There aren't any plants within reach.
I straight up, dude, like a small child, I try and like pull my limbs into my clothing to use the fucking cotton, like I'm Cornholio pulling my shirt collar over my head, trying to just like avoid taking sun damage.
Well, I guess this begs the question: what are you wearing?
What does Augustyn sleep in?
Yeah.
I am wearing like
on, so
I'm wearing basically tactical pants, like pants with too many pockets, and a shirt with too many pockets. Because I fuck with plants, man. I'm wearing practical, dirty, usable clothing. I am trying to pull all my excess cloth like an umbrella, just trying to like
ready to garden.
Screw it. I even try and do a fucking knot tying check to get some of my collar around the Revenant's fucking wrist so that I'm just at least secured and the Revenant can't just like let me go.
Okay, you successfully do that, and you take another 3 levels of aggravated damage. And as you do that, you hear the Revenant say, "Hey, why are you doing all that? You're making a mess and getting it everywhere." And you see your own ashes scattering all over, and everything fades to black. We fast forward to nightfall. Excavo wakes up. Archibald wakes up.
Oh my god, no.
You get up, and you notice that Augustyn is not up. You notice that Darby is not up. You hear some sort of disturbance in the room that Augustyn and Darby had gone to sleep in.
Okay. So I check out the room. I kind of check out the house, try and figure out where he's at.
I assume they're all really tuckered out, so I start to make pancakes so I can serve them breakfast in bed.
No, I'm checking out the scene.
Where specifically? What are you checking out?
So I assume I would see the other two awake and be like, where is Augustyn? Guys, where is Augustyn, guys? Where did he go?
I walk in with like a cute apron and stacks of pancakes, and I'm like, "What? Augustyn's gone?" And I drop them.
They happen to fall into slow motion territory as they cascade towards the linoleum.
Darby, you share a room with Augustyn. Do you know what?
Darby's not up. You don't see Darby.
Oh, Darby's gone. Okay.
Wait, where is Darby? I go to where they're staying.
As you walk into their room, you see Darby still asleep, and you see Augustyn still asleep, moving around in his bed as if having a nightmare.
It was all a dream.
Oh, God. No, why? Oh, why?
I start to pick up my pancakes.
Why? Because Andy wanted the nightmares flaw on Augustyn's character sheet. That's why.
Oh, God.
Because he thought it would be fun for his character to have nightmares. Was it in fact fun?
That was fascinating.
I was briefed to be as unhelpful as possible. I had a little bit of a heads up.
You did an excellent job, Darby.
Darby was a plant in that. Excavo and Archibald
Augustyn sitting up in his bed, like laughing, like "You got pranked, bro!" And he's sitting in his bed with his blanket over his lap, just like, ha, 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 "You got me."
Excavo and Archibald did not know what was going on. Darby was told that he was going to be involved in a nightmare. By the way, a little bit of housekeeping. Everyone who has woken up, which is everyone at this point, loses 1 point of blood, which you do every time you wake up. And also, as a result of Augustyn's very dramatic nightmare, you have to make a willpower roll at difficulty 7 to see if you have been traumatized by that nightmare.
I have 2 successes, 1 critical miss, so aggregate 1.
Okay.
1 success.
You got over that nightmare. You were not traumatized by it. If you got no successes, you would lose a die on all actions for the night. If you botched that roll, even when awake, you would still believe that you were in the nightmare. That would have been fun.
Nice
Really messed up flaw.
I just gently pat the walls to check, to make sure everything's real. Just cautiously, like, is it solid? Yes.
I knew that I could only get away with the Shyamalan nightmare fake out like once.
Now that we know that he has that flaw.
The whole campaign is all a dream, actually.
I mean,
All right, everybody. Did everybody get enough pancakes? Because we have a long night ahead of us.
You guys hear Jade talking to someone in the living room. There's a male voice that she's talking to.
I go to the living room.
We go to check it out, I guess.
They're not in like a private room. It's the living room. So
Yeah, just the living room.
Yeah, I kind of walk over there to check out the scene.
She's talking to this gentleman, and he stands up. As you walk into the living room and you see all the boxes that Randy had packed up for moving are gone, having been packed up by a moving crew during the day, including the tall gun safe that Randy was supposed to hide inside to transport himself overseas, in which you instead secretly tossed the remains of his burnt corpse inside of. The gentleman that Jade was talking to introduces himself. Hi, I'm Harvey McDougal. I've been Mr. Delacroix's housekeeper, janitor, errand boy. My taxes say I'm his personal assistant, like Jade, but he has her and me do different kinds of work. Anyways, it's nice to meet all of you. He holds out his hand to Augustyn.
I cautiously but firmly reciprocate the handshake.
Holds out his hand to Excavo.
I like to think I have a firm handshake.
Holds out his hand to Darby.
Darby gives him the full-on Trump grip.
He tries to tug his arm out of socket.
The shake and yank.
Just gives him the business. But it's like good-natured, but dominant, you know?
He smiles and kind of like gives you an extra nod to acknowledge the warmness of it. Extends his hand to Archibald.
Limpest handshake ever. Just like, pleased to meet you. But good morning. I mean, good night.
And you are who are each of you?
Oh, hi. I'm Archibald Alvins, and well, I guess we're the new masters of the manor since Randy left.
Yeah, I'm Harvey, and this is who each of you. I'm sorry, I gotta get your names in my head.
Nice to meet you.
So, what was your name, ma'am?
I'm Senshal Excavo. Nice to meet you.
Senshal. Okay, I've never heard someone named Senshal, and the man with a good handshake.
Title.
Darby.
Darby,
Nice to meet you,
okay.
boss.
You would know that's a title.
He would he probably would never have heard the word seneschal before.
Oh,
he's
shoot.
he's not
Right.
aware of any of the vampire stuff.
He's mortal. Oh no, he doesn't know anything.
Correct.
Okay, I would have known that. I had that in my notes.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's fine. And he looks at Augustyn. Yes. So what's your name?
Augustyn. friend.
Augustyn. Good to meet you. Man, I always tell Mr. Delacroix he's got to turn the heat up in this joint. All your hands feel super cold like his do. Anyway, I hope it's okay I stopped by. I came by earlier this afternoon. Jade said you were all busy with something. I'd be able to catch you later tonight. Figures you'd all be night owls like Mr. Delacroix. I need someone to sign this transfer ownership paperwork so I can get it in the mail. And he holds up the paperwork that Randy had laid out on his desk that transferred ownership of the LLC that owns all of his real estate, like Club Wonderland, and also ownership of his vehicles and stuff like that. Yeah, if someone could just put the names on this, I can get it in the mail and get it to the attorneys and get it all taken care of for you.
Archibald, our duly elected man leader servant.
Is it
can
Archibald?
totally
Is it Archibald like with a K with like a hard CH? I just want to get the name. It feels disrespectful to me if I get someone's name wrong. I feel like an ass if I get it wrong. I don't want to do that to someone, like not to their face.
Yes, Archibald. You can call me. You can call me Archie because I have a feeling we're gonna be great friends.
I like Archie. Archie, it feels less formal. Like I don't want this to be like a formal thing. Like I call him Mr. Delacroix, just because it feels. I don't know. Like I like the name. I like saying the name Delacroix. It makes me feel fancy. But like it felt like a casual relationship between me and him. But
Professor Alvins works too. If you'd like to maintain that formality.
I don't. Professor
Archie works.
Archie's fine. I think I'm going to call you Archie if you don't mind.
Anyway, documents. I love them. Sign me up. Excavo, do you want to look at this contract and make sure everything looks right? That seems up your alley.
Okay, so yeah, give me the contract. What's in this contract?
Oh,
I don't obviously have it in front of me.
Harvey hands the paperwork over to Excavo, and he says, "Oh yeah, this is transfer ownership of the LLC that Mr. Delacroix owns. That it's an LLC that owns Club Wonderland and is real estate and stuff like that. I guess Mr. Delacroix." He's leaving town. He's washing his hands of everything, and you guys are in charge of all that. So you guys need to be like the legal owners of all this stuff.
So he's moving that to us.
To you or whoever signs this paperwork. That's the deal.
All right, I'll sign it.
Right, I'll do it.
I already.
Did you already sign it?
Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it?
I guess.
Excavo, your derangement should come into play here.
I'm trying to play it cool here. 'Cause I feel like I can do it. I feel like I could just sign it. I have the best signature. I could just sign it right
Well,
now.
it's just I don't mean to rush you guys. I mean, it doesn't got to be right now, but I'm here to pick it up. I just gotta get this in the mail.
Signing it right now.
I just want to make sure this stuff doesn't get lost because I'm not really sure how to get this paperwork, how to get another copy of it. So I just want to make sure it gets taken care of.
Sure.
Right. Okay. Good for time for the rest of us to sign it.
Yeah, you can all. I'm told there's like space for like co-signers. You could all sign it and be co-owners of it.
Wonderful.
But that would be the
We
first.
love sharing.
But that would be first.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Also, I want to tell you guys, one of the things I do a lot of stuff for Mr. Delacroix, run a lot of errands for him. I usually stop by Club Wonderland to pick up any business mail addressed to Mr. Delacroix, and Marcia, she's the manager there. She gave me her business card to give to you so that you'll have her number. She said she's available to meet with you, but she really hopes that you don't want to. Because she says the club's running fine. But she figures, like, you're the new owners, you might want to meet with her.
Why would we not want to meet with her?
Because, like, Mr. Delacroix didn't really want to meet with her when he became the new owner. He wasn't a really involved owner. He was like, hey, I'm the new owner, and I'm not really involved in how the place runs. He just sort of like stood back, and he enjoyed the perks of being an owner, but he wasn't really involved in like how the place was managed. He like left it to Marcia, and she loved it that way. And now I think she's a little nervous that like, since you guys are the new owners, you might step in and like boss her around. And she's like, here's my card in case you want to do that, but like, we don't really need any help here. And she kind of like conveyed that to me, and this is me saying that to you. Anyway, but yeah, here's her card. Here's her number in case you want to get a hold of her. Mr. Delacroix did a lot of things like let her know ahead of time if he needed to close down the club for private events or anything like that. So you'd be able to do that too. You'd have that right as the owner. If you needed to use the club for anything personal, just let her know in advance. And he hands you a very nice-looking embossed business card that looks like a Victorian-era label for an apothecary bottle. On the back is the Club Wonderland logo, and on the front is Marcia Dalton's information, identifying her as the general manager and giving her phone number and email address. And though you can't see them, you can feel the words "Drink Me" raised on the card's surface. Harvey continues, speaking of which, I'm not fancy enough to have a business card, but I can write down my number for you. Mr. Delacroix told me that before he left, I'm working for you guys now, so anytime you need me, day or night, you just give me a call. I'm all paid up, so don't worry about any of that. Arrangements have been made. The arrangement is Jade lives here and does all the personal servant stuff, like food and dishes and laundry, and she cleans the basement too. I come in every morning, I clean up everything on the ground floor, and Mr. Delacroix would have me take care of cleaning his car and the garage, dead bodies and clogged toilets, things like that. You know, work that's not right for a young lady to be doing. I mean, no offense, ma'am. And he looks at Excavo. By the way, have any of you talked to Mr. Delacroix since he left?
We haven't heard. He must be jet lagged or something.
Yeah, I've been having trouble getting a hold of him. I figure maybe his plane hasn't landed or something. He looks over.
Like the air. Maybe he has Comcast. Doesn't have good connection.
He looks over at Jade. Jade, maybe you can let him know once he gets back in touch with you, like once he lands. Okay, so I got all of Mr. Delacroix's packages shipped off to meet him in Israel. And so I got good news and I got bad news. Most of his stuff should get to him in about a week and a half. It's taken a while because we're using a commercial shipping company. His bigger and heavier items are shipped by a cargo plane that we arranged to be chartered through my buddy Dave here at the local airport. Bad news is Dave called me about an hour ago saying that something crazy happened with a cargo plane. It went down in the Atlantic. Some mechanical failure, something. So someone's got to tell Mr. Delacroix that he's not going to be getting that safe, that piano, and that friggin' heavy as shit statue of that guy from Fargo. Upon hearing this, Jade...
We'll make sure he...
Is there not another cargo plane?
Another cargo plane to like go into the ocean and pull the piano out?
I thought he was saying that it was still at the house.
No, he.
Oh no! My buddy at the airport told me that the plane was on its way, and the plane. No. The plane went down in the ocean.
Oh my God.
So the few things that we shipped that were like too big to practically be shipped through like commercial shipping, like the piano and that big weird statue of that Buscemi actor guy.
That is true. Unfortunate.
Yeah, those are just lost. So I'm really hoping Mr. Delacroix had insurance on those and that they were worth a lot. So like silver lining, maybe he's gonna get like a good insurance payout on those. But someone like Jade, you're gonna have to break the news to him. He's not gonna get his piano and like whatever rifles or whatever he had in that safe. And
We'll
upon
take care of that correspondence.
hearing this, Jade goes white and sits down abruptly on the couch, just crestfallen.
I kind of whisper in Harvey's ear, and I'm like, Jade loves pianos, so you'll have to forgive her for being a little bit upset about this.
Harvey turns to you. Oh my God. I had no idea. I'm so sorry. Well, I didn't mean to talk your ear off. Well, is there anything else you wanted from me? Clarify kind of my role in this whole thing. Work I did for Mr. Delacroix. Kind of work I could do for you.
Well, Harv, I think you just keep doing what you're doing.
Harvey, did he ever have you do garden work, or was it all indoors?
I did outside, really anything dirty, anything degrading, any sort of cleanup job to do involving.
I kind of pull him aside just gently by the shoulder and, hey man, we're about to be working very closely with Mr. Delacroix, and I'm here to help him with his plants. Does he have any gardening things that you've done? Like, you know, I feel like it would be really helpful to me as a friend if I understood what you did that he needed for that.
Well, groundskeeping. I mean, keeping the lawn maintained, keeping
Yep.
shrubs looking nice. For a lot of it, I just hire groundskeepers and make sure they're doing their job. There's only so much that I could do my own self, and I would delegate some of it, but I'd oversee a lot of that stuff. But I'm not really sure what you're asking here. This isn't code? Is this about the cleaning up bodies? Is this code for that stuff?
My good man, it's not a code.
He doesn't know about vampires.
It's not a code. I'm just a big old nerd for hobbies, and I love landscaping, and I'd like to be able to share that knowledge with Mr. Delacroix.
I got a bonsai tree back in my apartment. Like, I like plants too. It's soothing, like making something grow from a seed. Like, I got respect for that, buddy.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for indulging my candor. I apologize for talking to you. I know you're already a hardworking man.
Yeah, well, no, anytime. You got my number. You don't got my number. Hang on a second. And he scribbles his cell phone number down on a piece of paper and hands it to you.
Thanks, man.
All right, well, unless if you guys need anything else, I'll go ahead and get out of your hair.
Yeah, see you later, Harvey.
All right, you guys have a good one. And he heads out the door.
Later, Harv.
So Jade is just collapsed in the couch.
Hey, what's up with you, Jay? It's just a piano.
Darby.
What?
Jade knows about the plan. She knows what was in the safe.
Jade,
Master
we
was in
are
the safe.
so sorry to hear about what happened to Randy's
Master
plane,
was
but
in the safe. What's
we know.
gonna happen? He's in the ocean now, and he can't get
I'm
out.
sure the Camarilla will do anything they can to try and
No,
help him, but
he's dead.
He wouldn't have.
Jade,
Couldn't have.
what we can offer you is our complete support, and we can shelter you here as well. I know you'd rather go to Israel with your master, but you have a home here with us as well.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And you see tears just pouring down her face, and her head's lowered, and she's just not looking at any of you. And she's just
Harvey
repeating
goes
it. It doesn't
like,
matter.
sits next to her and puts his arm around her and just
Going to
sits
do-
quiet.
I also I'm sure I could console her even better.
I have some torn up pancake scraps, and I just like kind of hold them out. I'm like, pancakes?
He's dead, and he's never coming back.
Yeah.
He was going to turn me into a vampire. He was going to make me immortal. Now I'm going to get old and die like everyone else, and it's bullshit!
Hey. Come here. Look, I get mortality can be shitty, but did you know that plants cannot die?
I'm not... Okay, all of you are immortal, and I'm not going to listen to any of you. You don't have to worry about any of this shit. I could get cancer and die tomorrow. I can get hit by a car. I could choke on a Twizzler and die tonight. None of you have to worry about any of that stuff. He could have turned me into a vampire before he left. I don't know why he didn't. I don't know what his deal was and why he was fucking around for the last year. And now he's dead, and I'm never going to be a vampire.
Well, Jade.
What?
Lord Delacroix's gone, but what if we told you the offer could still stand?
You know what? That's what he told me. And I think this is what you people do. You dangle this offer in front of our faces. You know, I mingled with other ghouls in the 5 years that I served Randy. We hang out together and we talk, and it's cruel what you people do. You dangle the prospect of immortality in front of our faces, which is a really manipulative thing to do. I served this guy for 5 years. I wasted half my 20s thinking that he was going to make me immortal. I thought I was going to be 21 forever. And now, if I'm lucky, I'll be 25 forever. And now I'm not going to be anything forever. I'm going to get old, and I'm going to die. And now, at this point, Jade is pacing back and forth, just kind of hysterical, just pacing around the living room, just furious at her situation.
Well,
Are you sure this is what you want?
Am I sure living forever is what I want? Are any of you second guessing immortality? Do any of you not like being vampires?
I miss as a little amount of time I spend outside, I miss the sun. I miss being outside.
I see the sun all the time. The sun is bullshit. The sun gives you cancer. The sun makes you squint. It's really annoying. It makes it hard to drive west in the afternoon. It's bullshit. The sun is pretty lame most of the time. Take it from me. That's why I spend most of my time, up at night with Randy. Because
I miss enjoying food and not giving a fuck about any of this vampire stuff. The Tremere, the this, the that. Why?
Are you guys trying to talk me out of being immortal? Because none of you are actually going to turn me into a vampire? Is what all this is?
Let's go back. This is a permanent decision.
Can I clarify? Don't ghoul... I Googled it, so I'm not sure. Don't ghouls live forever so long as they keep feeding on some vampire blood?
Potentially, yeah. I think. Or like they age at an extremely reduced rate. They can... I think that, they can...
What's like an average lifespan of a ghoul? Does it just depend on how much vampire blood is available?
I think ghouls can theoretically live forever. I think that's correct.
So she can already basically live forever.
Jade, if you want to keep drinking our blood, you'll live far, far longer than any human. Potentially forever, or even longer than us.
Or even
but
longer
you still have all the benefits of still being partially human. You can go out in the sun and all that.
No. You guys don't understand. It's like the difference between being your own boss and owning your own company and having to live off of your parents' allowance. If I'm a ghoul forever, that means I always have to have a master, and I have to hope that the master always likes me. And
so you want freedom.
Doesn't everyone?
Jade, how would you like to become a vampire?
I would like to not be fucked with for once in my life. That's what I would like. And
how do I do it? Can I do it?
Yeah, how do you do it?
Your boy just miraculously appears behind her and just gives her a good old snarky bite in the fucking jugular.
That's what Augustyn does?
Yep.
Jade.
He thought it through and was just like, this is the most practical method.
Jade gives in to the kiss and goes limp.
I'm like, Augustyn, like, aren't there enough?
We're making sure that she wanted to do it.
Like a gentleman, I catch her and lay her down before she totally just collapses on the floor. And then quizzically look back at my colleague.
Five Premier here and nobody else. That's a little self. Yeah.
Two things. Archibald, to answer your question, to embrace a mortal, you drain all of their blood and you give them any amount of vampire blood. They more or less immediately arise as a vampire, one generation higher than whoever gave them that blood. In that same.
For a ghoul?
It is not different for a ghoul. The only thing special about being a ghoul is if you ghoul a mortal, they automatically have 1 point of potence. So if you embrace a ghoul, that person automatically is a vampire with 1 level of potence. So that's cool. Also, if you embrace a ghoul, you are automatically drinking at least 1 point of vampiric blood from whoever it is that turned them into a ghoul. Does that make sense?
This is how diseases spread.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, right after you embrace a vampire, what you have is a vampire that has probably a very small amount of blood in their blood pool. In other words, a very hungry vampire that might be like frenzying for blood. The safest way to embrace a vampire that won't like frenzy and be violent is to completely drain a mortal and then embrace them with a bunch of vampiric blood so that they're like topped off and they can awaken and be like sane and friendly and be like, yeah, I'm a vampire now, and not like be in berserker mode.
Would our characters know that?
I'm going to say that's pretty much common
I've never
knowledge.
sired anybody before.
None of you are brand new vampires, and none of this is like secret knowledge. This should be pretty common knowledge.
Okay.
So, second point, Augustyn, what specifically are you doing? Are you draining her of blood, or are you just latching on and paralyzing her with the kiss?
I'm actually draining her and giving her some of the most recent vampire blood I have made, or I guess sat on. But like,
vampire blood would be your blood because you're a vampire.
Okay, so yeah, draining her and giving her my blood.
Let's do this one step at a time, because the other PCs might actually be objecting and might be intervening. So you can take 3 blood points from her per turn. So in this first turn, you indeed take 3 blood points from her, which I will mark on your sheet here. And does anyone else do anything or say anything to Augustyn?
I am protesting because I'm like, there's already like 500 Tremere in this town, and
Well, there are like 5.
Yeah, it's a hyperbole, Excavo.
Other than Augustyn, there are 3 Tremere that have been mentioned.
But we haven't really met anybody else. If Archibald the Prince is like, don't, Darby would probably intervene. Because you need the prince's permission to sire a child. And Darby's a rule follower. So as soon as Archie is like, hey, stop it, Darby is probably going to jump in and try to break him up.
That is one of the traditions of the Camarilla.
Well, we're not saying we shouldn't turn her into a vampire. I'm saying Darby should give her the blood. Or me.
Why?
So what? I take the blood and one of you gives her the blood?
Yeah.
Does that mean I have to bite one of you guys and give you her blood?
Or Augustyn.
What's wrong with my blood?
Well, Excavo, I don't think she wants... how do I put this?
Careful.
The Malkavians have some side effects that maybe I don't think Jade would consent to. And I think we should get her input and let her choose.
I mean, she doesn't look like she's in the proper state to choose.
I'm already like fangs deep in her neck and just like squinting and shrugging at you guys.
And I'm saying like...
He's siring her. Let him do it. I don't know.
It would also be really cool if we had like a bunch of blood, because she's probably going to be a little frenzied when you're done with her, unless you plan on giving her a lot of your own blood, Augustyn.
Actually, how does that work? Like,
you didn't really think this through, did you?
I started. There's no going back. However, what negative consequences am I going to have from siring a vampire like on the goddamn spot?
Now we don't have any ghoul. We're going to need to get a new ghoul at the ghoul store.
Well, you'll have a vampire, though.
Yeah, we'll have a vampire.
Facts.
Well, okay, if everybody's for it, go ahead, since you already started.
Mumbling, I'm pretty torn about this. I mean,
she won't responsibility if she gets out of control, Augustyn.
This is a curse. Yeah, it's on you, boss. Keep this in line. I'm the sheriff of these parts now.
Yeah.
So.
If she tries to attack us and stuff.
She's 25. She knows what she wants.
This feels like an intervention, but...
Augustyn?
Yeah. So,
if you get this, it's a big responsibility. You'll have to feed her and give her water and take her out.
I'm so that I'm gonna go ahead and sire and give her my blood, I guess.
Who's got the lowest cat?
Several of you are 8th gen. Augustyn and Darby are both 8th gen. I think it's worth, for the viewers at home who aren't particularly familiar with Vampire the Masquerade, right here, one of the biggest concerns over who should embrace Jade DeWitt comes down to which clan should she be embraced into. And the reason why that makes a difference is each clan of vampires has different, essentially, genetic weaknesses programmed into them. The different clans represented by our player characters are the Tremere, Malkavian, Ventru, and Brujah. In this edition, the clan weakness of the Tremere, other than being part of the Tremere and being obligated to be part of their very militant power structure, the Tremere are much more susceptible to blood bonds than most people. All Malkavians are subject to incurable mental illnesses. All Ventru, at some point shortly after being embraced, when they are hunting their prey, they find someone that they feed on, that they latch onto, and that type of person becomes the only type of person that they can drink the blood of. And they become supernaturally attuned to that type of person and that type of blood. And they don't gain any nourishment from any other type of blood. And Brujah are much less able to avoid condition known as frenzy, which is where an anger trigger makes them lose control and flip out and try to kill whatever's in front of them. So one of these characters here is going to, I guess, embrace Jade and curse her with one of these weaknesses, perhaps forever. Unless if she gets burnt to death in a car, then it'll be like for one night. So 3 blood points have been drained from Jade. What are we doing now?
Listen, guys, all I'm saying, I'm all for Jade becoming a vampire, but if we really are facing threats in this city, then we already have Augustyn as well as the other Tremere at the Chantry. And if we want to make up for their weaknesses and add additional strengths, maybe we could think strategically about whose abilities would benefit from being in Jade as well.
How many do we know how many Malkavian are in the city?
There's one of all the rest of us.
Oh, and we're it?
It's just us, but there's already like 4 Tremere now.
There has been a reference to there being one other Brujah who has gone missing.
Oh, yeah. And the Nosferatu.
Who have
all
gone missing.
I'm honestly thinking Darby. With the Ventru's fortitude, Jade could be very resistant and a great asset to our team.
Hey, well,
We only need one Malkavian.
Augustyn, if the prince wants me to do it, I'll do it.
I mean, given the faults of the other types of vampire, I feel...
I give Excavo a really menacing look at that comment.
I
Just
feel
like
that,
daggers into her soul.
I feel that the trade-off of being a Malkavian is not so bad.
And I'm saying, Excavo, it shouldn't be me either, because we don't have very much human blood. We don't have a human here to replenish her blood pool, and since I'm very susceptible to frenzy, I don't think I should do it either. I think Darby's the most logical choice.
Not sure what this is going to do to Jade, but I'm going to dislodge and, like, while she's in the passive realm of the kiss, like, dislodge and hand her over to Darby.
Oh! Well, I guess he takes it. I don't know. I can only do so much.
Darby gently completes the ritual. He's like, maybe like creepily tender about it. Like, as if no one is watching. Just lays her down gently and treats it like a really kind of solemn big deal.
I don't know if this makes the whole thing a little creepier, but you get full of blood after drinking 4 points of her blood, and she still has 3 more points of blood left, which someone else could take. The alternative is you would need to puke up some of her blood just somewhere in the room.
I indicate that I'm like getting full, and I pass it to Archibald. I assume this is somewhat common if you feeding with group. Actually,
this is not normal.
Yeah, I'll take some.
I can't take any nourishment from her blood at all, so I should be able to drain it all, shouldn't I?
So you don't feed it all from her.
Yep. So I'm just draining her blood practically. It's disappearing magically, unsatisfying inside my body.
It wouldn't make sense to me that Darby would even be removing any blood from her as this whole thing.
I would like, this is gross. Somebody else drain her at first. Like, you do.
I grab her and bite and start draining the rest.
You could take 5 points from her before you were full.
She only had 4, right?
She had 3. There was 3.
That Darby wouldn't take any.
She has 2 points of blood left in her that someone should take out.
All right, so I'm going to take the 2 and then pass her back to Darby.
No, you took 5 out and you are now full.
Oh.
Me. Me. Why am I last?
Why were you last?
I'm the best at draining blood.
Excavo, do you promise to just take a little bit and then pass it back to Darby?
Yes.
Fine.
Excavo, as you drink the last of the blood in Jade DeWitt, killing her in the process, It tastes especially sweet and potent because you are actually drinking Randolph Delacroix's vampiric blood that's at the very, very last of her body.
Okay. Do I get more blood points or no because of that?
No. I think technically no.
Okay.
So no.
I don't know if there's a difference in drinking a vampire's blood versus
Diablerie on display here?
use the vampire.
No, I don't think Diablerie has anything to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah, the difference is you can taste the difference. It feels super awesome, and if it were the blood of an alive vampire, you might feel bloodbound. Thoughts and memories from the late Prince Delacroix come flooding back to you, and you feel a little flutter of emotion, but it quickly passes, much like he did.
Very quickly.
Jade DeWitt is now dead.
I walk over and give her a taste of the old Darby sauce.
Oh my god, that sounds horrible.
Okay, Guy Fieri. Fucking tile at 20% back there, alright?
Darby
Andy, I would like to say that Arby's sauce is from Arby's, but
totally
the executive chef for TGI Fridays, so that was actually inaccurate what you said.
I want another Malkavian. I try and make her Malkavian.
Did you say barbecue sauce?
I did say barbecue sauce, yeah.
I wanted to make sure that everybody caught that.
Very good.
Oh, no.
How specifically do you sauce her?
Oh no!
I just, as workmanlike as possible, I just like slice open my wrist and feed her a little bit.
Nothing appears to happen at first, and then after a few moments, her body shudders and her eyes light up, and her mouth opens, and her canines distend into fangs, and her eyes turn to look at you. And what are you doing with your wrist? Are you drawing it back, or are you leaving your wrist out?
I know what's about to happen here. What's my current blood pool situation?
You currently have 11 points of blood.
Okay, I let her take a swig. I let her go 2 rounds.
She looks weak and confused, as anyone would be who was just exsanguinated and killed and is literally a magically resurrected corpse as of a moment ago. And a weak and unsteady hand rises and grabs your forearm and makes eye contact with you, and then looks down at your wrist and looks back up at you and sort of...
That's right. It's happening. Just relax. It's happening for you now. It's what you always wanted. It's all happening.
And then while maintaining eye contact with you, kind of draws your wrist into her mouth with sort of a questioning look.
That's right.
Like, is this?
That's right. Don't take too much, but you have a little bit.
And she pulls a draft of 1 blood point out of you, and her eyes close, and she seems to be into it.
How do I interrupt this?
However you'd like.
I'm focused on it. I mean, whatever you try to do, I'm resisting it strong. So, but you would surprise me. I am not expecting anybody to mess with us right now, but it will be resisted.
Darby, you would notice an odd thing. Because she is a vampire and she is now putting her fangs into you, vampires are susceptible to the kiss, just like mortals are. Not to the same degree, but vampires do feel the immobilizing, inhibiting effects of vampire fangs going into you. It feels like kind of good and kind of magically paralyzing in a little way. She's now drawing a second point of blood out of your wrist.
I have decided that I want her to have 3 points of my blood. I am letting this happen. I am not even concerned. I mean, I'm probably just like going with it a little bit, just enjoying, I guess, the moment. I don't think I've ever done this before. It was confusing for me. I kind of like the idea of Darby maybe having one spin a ghoul. It would explain his weird potence point, which is a satisfying backstory thing. So maybe I'm just like really relating and just trying to ease her transition, because I think it was a little traumatic for me.
With every point of blood that she draws out of you, she clenches into your forearm a little tighter, and she seems to be like burying her face a little deeper into your arm as she gets more and more into it. She drinks a third point of blood out of your wrist.
At this point, I say, all right now, that's enough. We're going to find you some more. I got to show you how. You got to stop. And I try to break free.
At this point, it is apparent to you that you will need to make an opposed strength roll against her to pull that off.
I am intentionally trying not to hurt her. I think if that adds an extra degree of difficulty, I accede to that.
Though I like the idea of making it possible to just snap her fangs out on a botch. I don't think that there's a possibility of this hurting her.
I mean, that sounds more like a dexterity thing of being able to maneuver in such a way as to not hurt her.
Let's say if Darby would like to either twist his way out or just arm wrestle his way out, this could either be a dexterity or a strength check. But I don't see this resulting in her being injured either way.
Yeah, Darby's main focus is like de-escalation right now. Pretty rare thing for Darby to be focusing on, but I think he's just very empathetic for what she's going through, and is just like, all right, just explaining what is going on, like trying to be patient. Like, I'm going to stop you now. I'm a lot stronger than you. You can fight me if you want to, but I'm taking my arm away. We're going to make sure you can get some food. All right? I bet you're very hungry. And I rolled brute strength.
She has a small amount of strength and a small amount of potence. She got a single success.
I really feel like this is my specialty. I mean, I don't know. Like, it feels like I should get the benefit of a crit for a physical exchange.
That looks like you got 2 successes though, at least.
Well, I only got 1 because 1 got canceled out by a botch, right?
Right.
So I only if I get credit for the crit as 2.
So your specialty is
whatever a tie break.
Your specialty is grappling.
Yes. Like ceasing grappling seems like also something that would be part of grappling.
Getting out of a grapple.
I'm going to say, yeah, I'll agree with that. So that 10 will count as 2 successes, and you do pull away from her. As you do, she does momentarily kind of chase after your arm before coming to.
Hang on. Wait a minute. It's a whole process. You're gonna get some.
So she's sitting on the floor, and she seems kind of disoriented, and she looks up at all of you standing around her, and she says, "Hey guys, hey, what just happened?"
Welcome to immortality.
Welcome to the club.
It happened.
I'm a Toreador now?
Not exactly. You're a Ventru.
Is that a vampire too?
It is a vampire.
It's a pretty alright one.
You're just like me.
How? Okay.
Well, you know what the prince is, right? Well, Archie's the prince. That's what he
I
wanted.
might need to go lie down for a little bit.
Okay. I feel
Hungry?
Yeah.
Well, let's go take you out and see what flavor you like. This is kind of part of it for our clan, guys. You mind if Jade and I kind of get the lay of the land? Give us a little bit here.
Darby, I do have one request. Maybe choose a little something easier for her than you know, your situation.
Yeah, I know. It was not something I'd repeat if I could go back and do it all again.
It's not chosen actually by Ventru.
It's not the choice. That's what they thought.
It's just fate.
It just happens.
Maybe steer her away from the meth people.
Can't really steer it, boss. It's going to happen the way it's going to happen. All right, Jade, you ready to go get after it?
We'll have fun, you two.
Actually, it would be traditionally for everybody. Upon waking, everybody would run out and have their own hunting scene to top themselves off. Archibald, you are actually full. Your blood pool is totally full.
All right, well, Excavo and Augustyn can go, and then Jade and I will play.
Would Augustyn, Darby, and Excavo want to run off and do their own quick hunting scenes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jade being taken under Darby's wing for her first hunting scene?
Yeah, exactly. I think that just to explain the pathology out loud for you guys, I think Darby is very, overcompensating for his crappy sire, and just, even though this was a command by his prince and he never really wanted this, is taking it super seriously.
You are... Augustyn one thing before they head out.
Totally.
I'm going to hang back here while you do your thing since I'm all full, but I was wondering if you still have those papers that you took from Prince Delacroix.
How did you know I took those?
I was hoping you didn't remember that I didn't know that. Okay, let me replace that. I'm going to take another look at that chessboard. I knew you were standing over there. Did you happen to see anything? Since Jade didn't know about the papers, you didn't see anything, did you, Augustyn?
There was open discussion about there being papers, and then the papers being missing for some reason.
Yep.
And them going missing around the time that Augustyn was lurking around the area where they were. So it's not that big of a leap for Archibald to have been like, hey, Augustyn.
I kind of just lock eyes with Archibald, and in a very serious and ambiguous tone, just
we can't see.
It is the responsibility of those who observe to internalize that. Please don't make me regret having observed this. And I quietly just slip the letter out of my jacket and onto the table without even gesturing it. I'm just set it on the table, and I just kind of awkwardly walk around the corner, vaguely into the other room, but I'm not totally out of the room. I'm just around the corner. Archibald can probably see part of my pant leg or something hanging around the other side.
Wonderful. Thanks, bud. Have fun out there. And
leans back, think nothing of it, and actually exits the room.
Right. So I would like to start studying this and trying to get to the bottom of what happened with Randy while they're all gone.
Wait, did Archibald actually get those papers? I'm so confused. What just happened?
No, I totally just deposited the papers and
just being all cryptic about it.
I felt super awkward because I did such a poor job of actually stealing them that I know that other people know I stole them. So I'm trying to walk off the fact that I'd been seen. So I just kind of drop the papers off and awkwardly leave and hope that whatever he gets out of it, he forgets that I was the one who stole them.
Well, considering that they were left in the house, in hindsight, it wasn't really theft. They're just kind of yours now.
He's got him. I've left the room.
Cool.
Excavo, where will you be hunting?
I don't know where to go. I don't really know this town very well.
That's a good point.
I don't know where to go.
You can just take a vehicle just off into the city or start walking.
I don't know. Probably a vehicle just to, kind of maybe drive down some streets, kind of finally explore and get a lay of the land somehow. Kind of eyeball where things are. I mean, I can only see so much on Google Maps.
As you drive around, it's assumed that you are going to spend about an hour for every hunting scene. And within an hour, you can find from where you are, especially using Google Maps, you can kind of eyeball what might be residential neighborhoods that would be more ideal hunting grounds, like neighborhoods that aren't as well lit, with like street lights out, with a lot of trees, so there isn't like a lot of moonlight illuminating the sidewalks, slums, lower income areas, and those will have lower difficulties. You could also, if you have preferred areas where you would like to hunt, depending on your strategy, if you're trying to seduce or manipulate people, you could go to bars and nightclubs. You can go back to Club Wonderland. You might have lower difficulty depending on how specifically you're wanting to hunt.
Would Jade know where to go?
Jade could have some suggestions.
I mean, she hasn't necessarily gone hunting yet, but maybe she knows kind of where the former prince would have gone.
She would have been with Randy, yeah.
So, where would Randy go for this sort of thing?
Master would go kind of all over the place. He was kind of afraid of ever going to the same place too often because he was afraid people would catch on to him, being a vampire. He'd sometimes go to the prospector camp. He'd sometimes go downtown and if he'd catch someone walking through an alley, he'd run through it and then do that mind thing where he'd be like, ooh, this never happened. You don't remember this. Ooh. But lots of times a common thing would be we just park in a neighborhood that was dark, and then he'd walk around the neighborhood for 20 minutes until he'd find someone on their porch or something. But lately, those doorbell cameras and stuff have gotten real popular, and I've been telling them it's not a good idea to do that because someone's gonna catch you on their security camera making out with their neck, and they might not remember that it happened, but they're gonna check their footage and be like, who the fuck was that guy? So I'm suggesting don't do the porch thing. So yeah, around town here, just go to neighborhoods. Bars are good if you can go to a real crowded bar and find someone in the corner. He would sometimes feed on people in booths. You'd flirt with a girl and get real close to her and sometimes hiding in plain sight works. You can go to a park and find someone who's dog walking late at night and chase him down just as long as there's no witnesses. Yeah, we'd go all over.
Where would you like to go?
Actually what we had been doing up until about a year ago, we had this scheme going where we had these, this is going to sound corny, we had these blood parties here in the manor. Well, it's going to be hard to explain. So what he wanted to do was get this blood bank to just send blood bags to the manor, just to mail them here. So he talked to this phlebotomist, and he was like, hey buddy, I got this, and he was just bullshitting this blood collector guy. He was like, hey, I got these crazy gothy kinky sex parties, and these people, they want to bathe in real human blood, but I don't want to collect, I don't know how to do the needle stuff. Could we just get safe blood bags from you so I could bring them to these crazy goth sex parties that these kids want me to throw? can we do that? That's why I want blood from you. That was his cover for getting, like, blood
Did it work?
bags. Well, kind of. The phlebotomist guy was like, yeah, I could do that. Invite me to these parties, though. And then Master was like, oh, shit. And then the phlebotomist guy was like, yeah, I'm really going to need to, like, come to these parties because, well, the guy was saying because of cross-contamination, it's not safe for, like, you to be exposed to someone else's blood, you know, regardless. So the only safe way to do that is to, you know, collect blood from one person so that same person could have the blood, like, sprayed on them and they could do whatever crazy sex thing. So, like, so Master got, like, caught in this lie. But so what he did was he started actually rounding up people from Club Wonderland who were, like, kinky goth, you know, those corny Hot Topic people. And they're like, okay, we're going to do these parties at Delacroix Manor. We had to put down all these tarps. It was super gross. And then we invited this phlebotomist guy over. And what we did was he collected blood from all these people. And here's the thing about blood. You only have to use, like, a little bit of it. And it gets everywhere. And it looks like a lot. And we saved the rest of it for Master to drink and for his buddies to drink. So that was like the scam. We ran these parties like every other weekend, and all of these kooky goth Hot Topic kids were like doing these crazy blood bondage things, having a hell of a time. And all these vampires hanging back, just getting all these blood bags stacked up and being tossed into coolers. And that was the way that it didn't seem suspicious. No one was thinking like, why are all these blood bags being collected? Oh, probably vampires exist. No, they just thought it was a sex thing the whole time. And it was a really good scam up until like a year ago. And Randy just like stopped doing it. He just stopped scheduling these parties. So we stopped having those blood bags that I served you last night, the drinks. Those are the last ones that we had.
Oh.
Anyway, so that's what we had been doing for a while. Randy didn't even hunt all the time. He would usually just do that and the blood would come to him. So, anyway, so long answer. I'm sorry.
Okay. So
what does
Why don't we
Excalibur do?
Darby's just listening to his child. Is like,
it's
that's what she is. So you think we should start that back up again? I mean,
but
yeah. I mean, you know, should we get it scheduled for next time?
it is scheduled.
Jade says, man, it was super gross, but like, I think the people that attended it are like still in town. And that phlebotomist guy, he still like hits me up on Facebook sometimes wanting to know like when it's going to happen again. And I'm telling him like, I don't know, like whenever.
It would help with city relations.
Like I could try to hook it up.
Get to know the
What do you think, Prince, Archie?
I defer to you guys because I mean I believe in freedom and equality and all that.
I mean, Darby clearly thinks it's a good idea. Very supportive of his child. It's like, yeah, let's do it. Sounds really smart. I really like you.
Yes, that is a good idea. We could have one, you know.
And I
don't know how fast this gets figured out, but
is Jade also bloodbound to me?
Jade would be first level bloodbound to you at this point. Yes.
okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Jade says, I'll look into it. I'll see who's still into it.
Hell yeah.
I mean, being covert is, handy for masquerade and all that. So, sounds like a good idea to me. We already have Club Wonderland. Let's go for it.
Hey, let me ask you something else, Jade. what other really good shit was happening before about a year ago? Because it seemed like things are doing all right, and then all of a sudden, just everything.
It seems to go down.
Prince Delacroix changes routine, started to suck. So what other good shit was happening before all that?
Really good shit? I don't know. We used to have regular meetings at Club Wonderland where all the kindred would get together. We'd have private meetings late at night after the last call at Club Wonderland. This would happen once a month. All the vampires in the city would get together. Their ghouls would be welcome. So I would even show up. All the ghouls would hang out at they'd have kind of like the kids table. I don't know what the vampires would talk about, but it seems like it'd be like important city business and
community meetings. You say,
yeah,
sign me up. Let's get one of those on the books too.
And once that stopped, I don't know. The vampires seemed kind of cranky that stopped because it seemed like communication kind of broke down and problems stopped getting solved. And I don't know, it was always kind of a party whenever that happened because the vampires had the whole club to play with. Like they would sometimes take, I don't know if you saw, there's a room in the basement with a whole bunch of like old weapons and stuff. And they would sometimes like take them down and like fence with them, and they'd play around, and they could just like be vampires in the club for one night and like fuck around with all their vampire powers and stuff because there weren't any mortals around. They could, be goofy and like use their powers and stuff because no one was looking. And
like a gathering, like Elysium.
Yeah, we'll reach out to Leslie about that. He is the keeper of Elysium, right?
Yeah, he was like kind of in charge of, I don't know, he was like the maitre d' of the special vampire gathering place.
Weird of him not mention it to us, but cool. We'll get in touch with him about it.
It seemed to be an important kind of regular thing for the vampires to have, and when Master stopped having that as like a monthly thing, I don't know, all the other vampires, it made them cranky. Like the sense of community went away, that outlet went away for them.
Right, there is one more thing we should do probably is like, we didn't really think about it before we bit Jade, but we are probably going to need like another ghoul, right? To do day stuff?
Currently, Harvey is the dayminder, though he's not aware of the world of darkness and not aware of like.
There is a certain utility to having a ghoul. They can do good shit, but none of us have. We would have to spend XP on a ghoul, right? Like, isn't that a thing?
Ghouls won't require any experience points at all. That's just role playing. And the utility of someone being a ghoul is indisputable.
Although
Jade knows other ghouls.
Okay. I have a phone number and a location of a ghoul, an admitted ghoul, Feather McKenna.
Who?
Yeah,
Feather McKenna from Club Wonderland. All I have to do is let them know I'm coming, and I'm allowed to go visit their commune. And I have some vested interest in going there because they have plants and other things, but they have ghouls. And where she was very green about it, she definitely hinted like, "Hey, I'm a ghoul. It's cool. Are you a vampire?" And when I hinted away from that, like, don't worry about it. So if we're looking for more ghouls, I want.
Like, we don't have to necessarily like steal someone's ghoul. Like, we can.
But I want to go to that commune and see if there's some shit I can till up there. And I think we could come out with an additional ghoul, or an entire cult. But
well, keep in mind that
Need a cult.
There are two kinds of ghouls. There are the ghouls that are independent ghouls that are just like people that are independent, and they seek out vampires, and they will take vampire blood from any source that they can because they're just like, I'm trying to be immortal. I don't have a master. I'm just trying to superpower myself. And there are thralls that serve masters, and those ghouls are essentially brainwashed to serve a specific master, and it is very difficult for them to do anything other than be like perfect, dutiful servants to never disobey or betray their specific master.
I don't think Augustyn can tell the difference. I think the allure of having a viable place to possibly do the only thing he knows or cares about is just too great. So I'm like trying to do a soapbox and just like, guys, I think this is the ghouls plus this place equals profit. Let's go.
What kind of a place is it?
The way it was described to me very loosely is they live outside of normal means. They are away from it is humans who reject humanity, and they're out there living the bare necessities, those simple that sort of thing.
Fucking hippies?
Yes.
So you've not been there.
It's worth checking out.
All right, well, shit, let's feed.
Well, yes, we still need to do we still need to do that.
Place to go, and then, yeah, why not? Let's go check out Feather McKenna. It's a very real-sounding name.
I mean,
So legit.
there's also the sewer situation. That seemed time
There's
sensitive.
all kinds of shit we got to do, man.
Yeah, but the hippies will
It's like
be there all the time.
Can't do it all in one night, Archie. Shit.
we need to feed. Step 1.
Okay, go ahead.
Honestly, my intention is I'm going to go to this camp with the intention to feed and wait for you guys to catch up to help out.
Cool.
Help out.
So, how do we feel about actually ending the session on that and beginning the next one with feeding and going to this camp, which is actually called Camp Moonlight, and exploring it and the hippies that live there for the first time?
Yeah.
Right on.
Sounds great to me.
All
I
right.
feel like Darby hates hippies, but sure, I guess.
Oh, Darby's going to have a lot of fun at Camp
Well,
Moonlight.
you can eat them then.
It's why it says hippies don't do meth.
I'm sure they do. I mean, that part is fine. Like,
Is Jade only going to be able to eat hippies?
oh
Only
no,
met hippies.
oh no, the cruel irony. No, we're gonna feed first. I am gonna take the approach of just kind of letting it come to her. You know, you kind of have to just go out with the spirit and see what happens. So, Graham, I'm foolishly surrendering to fate.
We should come up with some sort of mechanic for figuring out what Jade's Ventru prey exclusion should be. I like the idea of leaving it up to chance. The way it's supposed to work is it's not necessarily the first person that the Ventru feeds from. It's sometime soon after they're embraced. So I'm kind of playing around with the idea of every time that Jade feeds from someone, we roll a d10, and on a 10 or on a botch or something, whatever that person is, that's the type of person that she has to feed from
That
forever.
works.
Oh, 10.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
So
Yeah.
we have to arrange for every person that she feeds from to be some specific stereotype. So just a parade of like, there's a clown, there's a super tall guy, there's a World War II veteran.
Right
This
on.
guy's monodextric, and his dominant hand is none of his hands.
There's a cop in a wheelchair.
That's tough. That's really hard. You get some bonus XP for that one.
It's like, you
Speaking
better.
of, we never got to spend our XP from last session.
We
to
did
start
not.
this session.
Oh,
We just
yes.
earned a bunch
I
more.
did not. I have 6 XP.
The journey on your character sheet is like a third of the fun, a non-zero part of the fun. We can't forget getting strong. Anybody else going to spend theirs?
What I would like to do, I think, since I'm like the prince now and have to be more of a leader, I would like to gain presence. The
Oh,
discipline.
that's dope.
Hey, For the last few sessions, I've tried to use knives. Would the actions I've taken constitute efforts in dexterity?
Absolutely.
I feel like I've been doing a lot of stabbing.
You sure have, especially people that didn't deserve it.
You are not allowed to judge me, Barbecue.
Hey, look, I get
judge can
bullied. I got taunted into that. I'm an impressionable young man.
Oh, fucking
A
K.
lovable fool with a heart of gold.
Would it be too much? Would it be too many points to put 10 points into 2 dexterity, like attribute points?
1 point of dexterity would be 8 experience points.
Oh, that'd be 8 experience?
Yes, it would be your current rating times 4, and your current rating is 2.
Honestly, I'll take the 1 point of dexterity for 8 experience points.
So
Take
how many points
seriously.
of dex do you have now total?
3.
3 points of dexterity.
Okay, cool.
I have terrible physical stats, but the way I play,
No, it makes sense.
Dex is a very practical thing to put points into. That's
No
what
doubt.
practically all the attack or touching rolls are made with.
Okay, I think, Darby, you have, like, potence and celerity already, right?
I have potence 1 dot of each out of clan, so they will not be improving. Like, it'll be difficult for me to find. I guess you could teach it to me, but like, it'll be difficult for me to find like training in that. Dominate, fortitude, and presence are my core stats. Though disciplines aren't really like if I lean into one, I think like maybe 1 level of dominate and then just fortitude, like just becoming just a total.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be throwing myself into so much danger all the time. Like I don't want to die, so it feels like getting more fortitude would be a good goal.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if I should do one of those physical things or whether I should do presence and if it's like really worth it since I'm not.
I think presence was smart. That was very narratively like in line with what you're doing.
You can do some neat things with presence.
You've been faking it till you make it. Like you've just been talking a bunch of shit and it's been working. That's kind of what presence is all about. Just this.
Yeah. So I think my character is kind of like growing in that way. So I think from a role-playing perspective, that makes the most sense right now. So for now, I'm just going to do the presence. I'll save the rest of them. I'll figure that out.
Now, honestly, the second level of presence is so cheap and effective, I get kind of mad at it. It's called Dread Gaze, and it's effectively you bare your fangs and you hiss and you're scary at a target using your social stats.
Intimidation.
In a way that makes them overcome with fear. And most opponents can't really defend against it, and it makes them have to flee and unable to defend themselves. And it's really effective. And characters that don't have ways to physically defend themselves, this is a really effective way to just dominate someone in combat. And characters that do have ways to physically defend themselves and attack, like Brujah, can use this to make someone just cower in a corner while having their asses beat. Dread Gaze is bullshit and really effective. And if you're hit with it, I think there's like kind of nothing you can do. Yeah, it's really effective. There might be some fine print that lets you overcome it with willpower or something like that. But a lot of NPCs just don't have much in the way of willpower. And if they're trying to overcome it with willpower in every turn, you can just make them burn through all the willpower because I don't think it costs anything to use it every turn. Yeah, no, it's just a roll. You just roll charisma plus intimidation.
There you go.
Right on.
Fucking Dread Gaze.
I'm about that.
Incidentally, I can get that too. So we should probably both have that.
Just walk around hissing at everyone and just...
Okay. I wanted to get point of politics and then a charisma point. Boom.
Nice.
Got it.
Yeah.
Graham, how
I
much
think that makes sense with the character too.
theoretically would my 6 point of willpower cost me?
How much does willpower cost?
6 experience points. To raise your willpower, you spend your current willpower rating in experience points.
Oh, okay.
So it cost me 5 to raise it to 1.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
As much as I want to do that, I don't think I've earned it roleplay wise yet, and I think it really makes sense for me, as kind of useless as it is, to pick up a point of empathy for how it went down with Jade, because I don't know, that was like kind of a big deal for Darby. So I'm gonna give him a dot of empathy for 3 points.
And his heart grew 3 times its size that day.
And he got, Darby does have like 4 dots in charisma, like kind of a surprisingly high amount of charisma, and he's good at making friends. And that's what I hope happened with Jade as a mentorship relationship, even though he doesn't really know what the fuck is going on himself.
Never mind being an intern. You're not a professional vampire yet. You're not paid. But let me show you the ropes.
And I'm going to spend my other 3 on a point of intimidation. So I'm gonna take empathy and intimidation, kind of the yin and the yang of Darby.
Augustyn, we've never clarified what your tick or twitch is. Augustyn has a idiosyncratic twitch that he does that gives him away as being him, even if he's pretending to be someone else.
Well, never having done drugs in my public life ever, Augustyn has a propensity to just compulsively sniff the air around him as though just a waft of something has breezed his way. Just
he has perpetual fart face.
just occasionally and like look off in a direction, just compulsively, can't fucking help it, smells it. He looks not unlike fucking someone with a snowy nose. He looks like he's got a problem, but it's really just he smells something a little something. It's just all the time.
Excavo, I had one other clarifying question. You are obsessed with taking your revenge on an individual or group, and it is your overriding priority in any situation where you encounter the object of your revenge. You have the vengeful flaw. We've not yet heard who specifically you were vengeful against.
We talked about this. It's the other other hacker who was trying to usurp me and like try and be like the best hacker.
I don't remember who the background was of this.
Acid burn to your zero cool.
No.
Was this in the written background?
No, we talked about that there was a hacker who was trying to claim that they were the best, and because I'm a vampire.
If you mess with the best, you die so
try and take that throne back, I guess. I can only, and now that I can't even, contact the outside world, they're just. So that's why I wanted to be the leader, so I could make the rule that I could do whatever I need to get revenge. Because I'm the best hacker.
What's this other hacker's name?
It's something stupid.
The Phantom Freak.
Well, I knew that.
That's Excavo speaking.
Lord Icon.
Their name was. I don't think it was
the Plague.
Sure, it's that one.
The serial killer. Trying to remember the rest of the squad. What was Benji's name?
No, we'll go with the Plague because they think it's like.
But spelled with just a whole bunch of like numbers and weird symbols.
It's spelled Playg. The Plague. They may have hacked the hospital's records, but I hacked freaking Chase Bank. You can't. That's why I'm vengeful, because they're now out there getting famous, like Deadmau5 or Daft Punk famous, where you don't actually know what they look like.
All right. Well, I think those are some excellent uses of experience points. Is there anything else we want to go over before we wrap up?
No. See you guys in 2 weeks.
I think this has been, despite not leaving Delacroix Manor in this session, I think this has been an extremely eventful session. We made a new vampire.
We did. That was crazy.
This
Never
is how
done that in my entire history with this game.
Oh, yeah. All right. Until session 5. Have a good one.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Have a good night, guys.